West Ham are interested in Brighton striker Evan Ferguson on loan in January, which, on the face of it, looks absolutely ridiculous, doesn't it? But he's not getting in the team. I think he's only started one game this season. I think he played possibly last 4 minutes at a game at a weekend for Brighton. And realistically, at the moment, they don't need him. They've got a new coach in there. He's going great guns from strength to strength, really, Brighton at the moment. But they know they've got an asset on their hands. He knows he's good, and he's far better than just sat there warming the bench. Who'd have thought it? Danny Welbeck, amongst others, is keeping him out of the team. It's not just Welbeck, but it's a good strap line at least. West Ham are interested, but that's not really the story here. The story is that West Ham are interested in looking at a striker at all, because at the point of recording this video now, which is, Wednesday afternoon, it would appear that West Ham have basically made an official yet unofficial announcement that Nicholas Fullkrug is going to be returning really, really soon. Which ordinarily you would think, that's absolutely great news, fantastic news, Fullkrug returning, but it comes with a caveat. And this is the quote unquote from a top West Ham source, which is the German striker Fullkrug is very close to returning. But when asked a question beforehand whether West Ham would be in the market for a striker and whether there was any truth to the rumours that we were after Evan Ferguson, the answer came back that at the moment Fullkrug's very close to return, but we'll have to wait and see if he can sustain form or fitness or whether he wants to stay. It's an absolute bombshell. It really is. Now, I know last week the story in the news broke that Fullkrug possibly might be homesick. We know that. We understand that. But what it does do, it leaves West Ham in a certain amount of limbo in terms of what we're going to do with a striker. I thought Antonio, by the way, was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant against Newcastle. I spoke earlier, did the video about Jared Bowen, obviously earlier on this morning. And whilst I agree with what I said, whilst I think I was right in what I said, that a lot of the performances of Max Kilman and Wan-Bissaka took a lot of the limelight from Bowen, there were still other players who performed very well, and you could certainly say that to Mikel Antonio. We joked, obviously, that he sort of benefited from losing his passport. It does actually just go to show how much better he is if he hasn't got the distraction of international football. That being said, you can't rely on him. But what it did show is, I don't think it was so much has been said, but by myself included, about Soler and Paqueta and that sort of midfield partnership, and maybe the tactics been a little bit more simple. But there was a lot more to it as well. There was a sort of a high energy way to the way West Ham played against Newcastle. But I did think a big part of that was Mikel Antonio and having a fit and firing and athletic and physical striking presence up front. And I actually mentioned this to Gio when we did our player ratings video, and I said actually the way we played against Newcastle, I could see how possibly Fullkrug could work in that system. And when I said that, I didn't expect him to be back anytime soon, and now it would look as if that maybe West Ham are expecting him back, I don't know, off the bench against Arsenal. If not, quite possibly against Leicester City, which is the game afterwards. That's next Tuesday. So, we play Arsenal on Saturday, then we play Leicester City on the Tuesday. But it just showed him how important that striker position was. But it leaves us in a really, really awkward situation if what's happening is we got to wait and see what happens with Fullkrug before deciding whether we can go in for another striker. I absolutely hate it. I'm really quite annoyed. I can't be annoyed with Fullkrug for getting injured, right? That's not his fault. It's just, it's certainly West Ham's fault for signing an injury-prone player. That's at the feet of somebody else, that decision. But what I can blame Fullkrug for is basically deciding that he's homesick. I guess you don't decide you're homesick, do you? You just get homesick. But before he's even really played for West Ham, before he's given it a chance, I would totally understand. Funny enough, I used to understand it with Manuel Lanzini. I used to understand with Lanzini that he always used to say he's going to go back and he would play for, it was either Boca or River Plate, can't even remember now, but he would go back and play for his hometown club And I particularly remember during COVID, he was sort of stuck over here and he couldn't get back. And I would totally understand him being homesick at the time. I absolutely understand it. But I think Fullkrug, hold on a second, mate. You seem to be back in Germany more. You've been in the UK. It is a very, very short flight home. You've not really stuck it out long. You've not given it much time. And I look at it now and I think, yeah, just holding the club to ransom a little bit here with this decision. And we don't know what we can do in terms of looking forward to what should be our strategy for the remainder of the season. And we had a really good performance and probably given Hulan Lopetegui a stay of execution. But he's going to need to try and build a team around that. He's going to need to try and work out who he's going to be playing up front. I don't know what's going to happen with Danny Ings. I'd suspect he'll be off in the January transfer window. Why would he stay? But then again, I thought he'd leave in the last window. But West Ham need to have a coherent strategy in terms of who is going to be our striker for the remainder of the season and beyond. Highly likely Miguel Antonio is going to sign a pre-contract agreement with somebody else in January. Look, before I talk any further about that, please point in the direction of today's video sponsor, Surfshark. What's Surfshark? It's a VPN. What's a VPN? Something you need if you're doing anything on your computer or your phone or wherever you're watching this. If you do stuff on there that you don't want anyone else to see, then you're going to need a VPN. I don't mean all that. Get your minds out the gutter, by the way. I don't mean any dodgy stuff like that. Just things like internet banking, stuff like that, stuff like your passwords, important things like that. If you're the type of person who walks up to an ATM cash point and covers up the PIN, then you really want to be doing the same on your phone, with your Google Pay or whatever the case may be. Get yourself a VPN because it's going to give you a layer of protection, which basically doesn't allow anybody else to know your location. It builds a barrier to stop people hacking into your phone and all that other sort of dodgy stuff as well. It also has some other really, really good features which are going to allow you to basically say where your location is. So if you're off on holiday and you still want to view all the stuff that you can normally view in the UK, you just change your location and say, I'm still in the UK, and it works vice versa. The great thing about this is we've got a really, really good deal for you. It's still the same deal as before, which is you get your 4 months extra for free. You've still got the 30-day cancellation period, but we've got a Black Friday deal. It runs for far longer than Black Friday. We're actually running this deal until January the 1st. And it is that you're going to get it for £1.49 a month. It's so cheap. I'm actually going to have a little look now. I can't remember what it was. It was £3.95 a month. It's now £1.49. £1.49 a month. That is such a small amount for you to protect all of your internet banking and all the other stuff that you do on your phone, your dating apps, anything you don't want anyone to see. Get your sort of VPN. The link's in the description below, by the way. And it is surfshark.com/hammerschat. Go and check it out. Link is in the description below. Mikel Antonio. I think Mikel Antonio is just going to go and be signing a pre-contract agreement with another club. Or he can only do that if it's a foreign club, though. If he wants to sign for a UK team, for an English team, Premier League team, he can't sign the pre-contract agreement in January. He has to wait until the summer when his contract runs out. But I just find it absolutely ridiculous that the club are in the situation now of saying, because initially I thought it was good news. Oh, Fullkrug's back. That's really, really good news. But to hear the second part of the unofficial statement from the club, which says we'll have to see how he goes with form and fitness and whether he wants to stay or not. I mean, there's no way that Fullkrug should be having that level of control. And I just think also, let's just say he regains full fitness. And let's say he starts to play, but he then decides, no, I'm still homesick, I don't want to be here. The loss that West Ham are going to have to take on him will be significant. So the transfer fee was like 27 million. Would it be 27 million if we sold him now? No, it wouldn't, because a certain amount of that will be him playing a certain number of games, scoring some goals, etc., over a 5-year period. Clearly, some of those conditions are not going to be met. But I still think it'll be 23, 24 million, something like that. And there's no way anyone in Germany is paying £20 million for this guy. No way. I know, yes, all right, he looked good in the summer. Yes, he got to the Champions League final. But he is still an injury-prone player. And people are going to be looking at his move to West Ham and thinking he's a risk. And you know what? They're right to, because he is a risk. I think we'd be lucky to get £15 million for him. I really do. And I know that sounds ridiculous. I know it sounds sensationalistic. And you could say, Gonzo, you're plucking that figure out of the air. I am plucking that figure out of the air. But we were told by, well, Gio was told by Derek Ray, who's obviously the ESPN Bundesliga correspondent, West Ham overpaid. West Ham overpaid for this guy. Even Fullkrug has sort of alluded to the money involved in the deal as well. What did Derek Ray said? There's a Premier League price and there's a price for everybody else. We paid the West Ham are desperate for a striker Premier League price. That's what we paid. Look, I think the best thing that can happen, he comes back to full fitness, he starts playing. Maybe he's just a bit down the dumps, he's not been playing. Maybe he starts playing, particularly if West Ham are going to start playing in the fashion that we're doing at the moment. Then maybe, just maybe, he gets a little spring in his step, he gets his pecker up, and he thinks, actually, London don't seem quite so bad now, and whatever. He could start to enjoy himself and probably start to enjoy life at West Ham. And I'm pretty sure if you're a footballer, playing is going to be a big part of it. It can't be easy. It's not his fault he is injured, and it can't be easy being injured. But I do think it leaves West Ham in a precarious situation. And I think the thing that worries me most about it is that West Ham don't make the decision that Ferguson is available on a loan, 6-month loan. It'd be absolutely great, be ideal for West Ham. And then we realise, and Fullkrug does stay, but then he breaks down again in February. And then what we've done is we have relinquished the chance to bring in a striker when we could have done so. So yeah, I don't think it's great. I'm looking at both of them, and I'm looking at Rodriguez, I'm looking at Fullkrug, and if there was a way, because neither of them want to be here, if there is a way to get rid of both of them, and maybe that facilitates somebody else coming in. I don't know. I don't think that would be a bad choice. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. I've been very, very lucky here. I've had a very increasingly large puppy, actually, who's been asleep for the whole duration of this video. I'm grateful for that. Have you ever seen any man or beast trying to eat a window? You wouldn't think you could eat a window. You can eat a window. Unbelievable. He's trying to eat the man cave, actually. And yeah, it doesn't matter how many toys you buy him, he just wants to eat everything else. But anyway, so I'm not going to disturb him. Let sleeping dogs lie, as they say. I will show him to you at some point in the next few days, no doubt about it. But yeah, I'm not going to pass up this opportunity. I'm going to leave him sleeping. I'm going to edit this video. Don't forget, by the way, don't forget your Surfshark stuff. It's a really, really good deal. Get your devices, get your computer. You can have multiple devices on this stuff. So get your stuff protected. Do it now.